Do you actually know that your landlord cannot evict you without a proper court order, that is eviction notice? If your landlord does evict you without a proper court order, that is called an illegal eviction.
You pay your rent on time, you're a good tenant, but something just feels off. You know that little voice in the back of your head, the one that says something isn't quite right with how your landlord does things? It's time to listen to it. Landlords have a lot of power, sure, but they are not above the law. There are very real lines they legally cannot cross, yet so many of them do, hoping that you're either too scared or too uninformed to notice. They're literally banking on your silence. Well, today, that silence ends. We're counting down 5 of the most common ways your landlord might be breaking the law right now. And more importantly, what you can do about it.
Oh my God. Bro, what the? I'm not going in there.
Oh, hell no.
Alright, so I evicted my tenant about 15 days ago. I had to wait 10 days to let them get their shit out. I don't know what the fuck they did in there, but we about to find out.
Think your landlord holds all the cards? Think again. The law gives you more protection than you probably realize. And knowing your rights is a first step to getting your peace of mind back. And you'll want to stick around because number 3 is a violation that's so common you might not even know it's illegal. So let's start with the biggest fear for any renter: eviction. Your landlord might dangle it over your head or make you feel like you're one wrong move away from being tossed out. But here's the rock solid truth. A landlord can't just wake up one morning and decide that you're gone. An eviction is a legal process. It's not a power trip. It's not a nasty text message. It's not a screaming match in the hallway. And it is absolutely not your landlord changing the locks while you're at work. Those moves are called self-help evictions, and they are flat out illegal in nearly every state. A landlord cannot legally change your locks, or shut off your utilities, or remove your front door, or haul your stuff to the curb just to get you out. This is a landlord harassment, plain and simple, and it can land the owner in serious legal trouble. To legally evict you, your landlord has to go to court. Yep, your landlord has to go to court. The whole thing usually starts with a formal written warning, like a pay your rent or quit notice, which gives you a set amount of time to fix the problem. If you can't, they still can't take action themselves. They have to file an eviction lawsuit, and only if they win in court can they get an order for your removal. And even then, the person who actually shows you the door is a law enforcement officer like a sheriff, not your landlord. On top of that, they can't evict you for just any reason. A really common illegal move is retaliatory eviction. Now, this happens when a landlord tries to kick you out because you did something you are legally entitled to do, like reporting a health code violation or requesting a critical repair they've been ignoring. Now, if you complain about a broken heater and suddenly get an eviction notice, that's a giant red flag.
I'm fucking done with this company.
I've been trying to get a hold of somebody for about a month now, and nobody seems to be calling me back.
Reviewing the account. So I see you're under eviction. I have a chargeback. That's what Caitlin let me know.
I've been trying to reach out to you for months now, and all you keep saying is that you'll come back, and nobody ever does. Pay my rent. But I'm not paying extra.
Extra on the account would be the chargeback.
Which is that $300? And that's for?
So plumbing issue. So it says that the toilet wasn't draining, and that's what you were charged for because minor issues with the toilet, resident responsibility. So if it was
see where that's stated on anything. But why couldn't you guys back? I don't understand.
I'm sorry. We are very busy. The eviction will have to be the full balance on the account.
That's fine.
So it'll be $6,647 just because all the legal fees posted. for the eviction. So the legal fees were $195.
Okay, you credited back that, but you're charging me the legal fees for an eviction that had nothing to do with me. One month, and that was because of the charges that I was trying to fight.
I was trying to reach out to you, and she is aware now that I told her that there was a wrong number, but the eviction's already been filed, so there's nothing that she can do to stop the eviction unless we receive full payment.
Paying for what you guys just did.
On the payment plan, for the legal fees are $495. It'll be a $30 surcharge, so the total would be $530.
Not acceptable. This all started because you guys charged me for something that's not my responsibility.
Your responsibility, you just didn't know it was.
It says unclogged of minor sewer and plumbing backups caused by result of resident damage, abuse, or neglect. There was none of that.
Things stating that you had any major plumbing issues.
I just bought this house a year ago. How would you know?
But I'm not going to argue that fact. That you had to file an eviction on you.
You didn't have to do anything.
Well, we filed the eviction on you, so we're not resolving anything. I'm trying to get settled so that you can pay your rent and we can cancel the eviction.
Really fucking done with this company, Invitation Homes. I lived with them for 5 years before this, and they played these games all the time. So when I moved out, I made sure not to rent under them again, and I rented under another company. After I renewed the lease for 2 years, I found out that Invitation Homes bought them out. Now I'm under this company again. The one time was for a toilet that wasn't flushing. I made the appointment, they sent me the dates and times that the guy was supposed to be there, and the guy never showed up. Come to find out, they never made the appointment, even though I took off work and wasted money to wait for them. The toilet, never said anything. When I go to pay my rent, come to find out, they charged me $350 for unclogging the toilet. It seems like every month I'm fighting with them because they're trying to sneak in random charges. You call the call center, and they're like, oh, we'll tell the office, they'll call you back. I gave them the number to call, calling the wrong fucking number. Down there and post on my door an eviction notice. I have to go down to the office. That's the video you saw of me fighting with them. They gave me this paper, this 10 pieces of paper of my renter's responsibility, and it says, unclogging or minor sewer and plumbing backups caused as a result of resident damage, abuse, or neglect. I didn't neglect that toilet. I just shit and piss in it. So finally they take that charge off. They're like, yeah, but you got to pay the $500 in legal fees now because we're trying to evict you. I've never been evicted in my life. Rent was not paid for 15 days before they filed the eviction. My mom, she's a landlord, and we called her lawyer, and I got to send over all the paperwork. But bullshit. All I want to do is pay my rent. And
the law protects you from that kind of revenge. So what do? First, document everything. Save every single text, email, and letter. If your landlord locks you out, call the police right away and tell them it's an illegal eviction. And then contact a local tenants' rights group or an attorney. You might be able to sue your landlord for damages, including the cost of a temporary place to stay and any other expenses you had because of their illegal stunt.
I really want to tell you your rights as a renter when it comes to your security deposit. Under the law, your security deposit has to be deposited in a separate bank account by your landlord that is only for security deposits, and they're required to tell you where that bank is, so it should be in your lease. Also, under the law, when you move out, they have to give you your security deposit back within 30 days, along with a list of itemized deductions if you have damages in your property. And if they don't give you a list of itemized deductions, they owe you that security deposit back in full. They cannot charge you for normal cleaning or wear and tear, even if it says that in the lease. And so a lot of people don't know this. I know when I was a renter, I never once received a security deposit back. And so I always tell people that way they know their rights under their lease. And also when you move into a property, if there are already damages in place, if there are cracked windows or inoperable ceiling fans, you need to tell your landlord probably within the first 3 to 5 days about those damages, so they cannot be held against you when you move out.
The security deposit. Now that chunk of change you say goodbye to when you sign a lease, hoping it's just see you later and not goodbye forever. A lot of tenants just write it off and landlords count on that. But let's be crystal clear. That money isn't your landlord's. They're just holding it for you. There are strict rules for handling security deposits, and landlords break them constantly. First, the amount itself. Many states limit how much a landlord can even charge, usually capping it at 1 or 2 months' rent. Second, and this is a big one, they have to return your deposit within a specific time after you move out, often somewhere between 14 and 60 days, depending on your state. Now, can they take money out of it? Yes, but only for a couple of reasons. unpaid rent, and damages that goes beyond normal wear and tear. Normal wear and tear is the key phrase here. Things like paint fading, small scuffs on the wall, or carpets getting worn down from being walked on. Now that's normal. Your landlord can't use your deposit to pay for a full remodel. A giant hole that you punched in the drywall or a massive wine stain on the rug, yeah, they can probably deduct for that.
Because that's how much the security deposit is. He's wanting to keep $1,400.
So you're gonna keep $1,400 from us, Joe? No. I need to get this on video. You're gonna keep $1,400. Everyone's direct deposit, including mine.
We're not at midnight yet. If the house is clean by midnight.
What clean? What do you mean clean? Furniture out by midnight. You will give me my deposit.
Yes.
The house is clean. I cleaned it personally. Check everything.
Those are not the rugs that were in this house.
He replaced them, not me.
Oh, well,
it's not
you're
about me.
supposed to.
But it's not my fault.
I don't care. It's
Yeah,
one lease.
of
You're
course.
part of that.
Of course you don't care. You don't
No,
care.
I don't care.
Yeah, you don't.
Because you didn't care about my house.
Why is it my
The
fault?
reason why there's new carpet is because we cared about it, actually.
Sorry that we
Brand
don't.
new
Sorry
carpet
that.
and you know it.
Because we lived here for
The-
3
3
years.
years.
We
Oh,
spent
well.
$400 on new carpet for you guys.
Sorry that we're not.
It was real nice.
We're not.
Better be looking
Sorry,
good. Yeah, it's not too nice, is
we're
it?
not professional. Sorry. Again,
I can buy you a saddle. They're
$1,400. You're gonna keep $1,400.
Here's where they all often get it wrong. They have to give you an itemized list of every single deduction. If your landlord keeps some or all of your deposit, they must send you a written statement explaining exactly what they spent your money on. They can't just write for cleaning and call it a day. They have to be specific, and some states even require them to show you the receipts. Now, if your landlord misses the deadline to return your deposit or makes bogus deductions, you could fight back. Often, you could take them to small claims court. And here's the best part. In many states, if a judge finds that the landlord illegally kept your deposit, they can be forced to pay you back double or even triple the amount, plus your court fees. To protect yourself, always take detailed photos and videos of the apartment when you move in and when you move out. It's hard to argue with the timestamp video. Now, this one happens all the time. Your home is your sanctuary. You have a legal right to something called quiet enjoyment, which is a fancy way of saying your landlord can't just pop in for a visit whenever they want.
Hello. Marquise, you up? Marquise, you want to check up on the house?
Okay, but you can't just walk
Those
in.
scratches weren't there on the wall.
Yeah, I'm gonna fix
Those
it.
right there?
I'm gonna fix it, but why are you...
Last time I was here, those weren't there.
This is my house.
What's that smell? You been smoking?
Maybe? I don't
Smells
know.
like you've been smoking in the house.
This is my house.
You're not allowed to smoke in the house.
But this is my house.
Yeah, that's gonna be a $500 fine on the next month payment.
Bro,
So,
serious?
what's that?
It's my artwork, dude.
You been painting?
A little bit.
You're not allowed to touch the interior wall at all.
I'm gonna
That has to
make
be
it to
original.
This is
You're not
my
supposed to touch anything, Jamal.
My
Okay?
name's Marquise.
So,
What the fuck?
who's that?
My girl, man.
Hello?
Hell,
She's not supposed to be here.
she can be
Um,
here.
any visitors or guests,
She's not paying
I'm supposed to
rent
know
here.
of.
She doesn't got a fucking pay
So
to be here.
that's gonna be a problem.
It's gonna be a problem? What
Not
are
only
you
that,
talking about, man?
you know rent's due on the 1st.
Okay,
And I got it to you by midnight, the 1st.
So I still
So
got to
it's
do
a little
the
late
work.
than normal.
Dude, it's still not paid.
That's kind of a problem.
Except for a true emergency like a fire or a massive pipe bursting, landlords in most states have to give you reasonable notice before entering your apartment. What's reasonable? The standard is typically at least 24 hours written notice. That notice also needs to spell out a good reason for coming in, like making a repair, doing an inspection, or showing the apartment to a potential renter. They can't just show up to check on the place. They can't use their key to snoop around when you're not home for a non-emergency.
The oven's not finished yet, Sarah. I'll try getting to that probably next.
It's been over 45 days. Don't worry about it.
I'm gonna get to it. I'll be back.
Is that everything, Brian?
I think so. Yeah. You know, it's good. My wife makes me check my phone, keys, and wallet every time I leave the door. All right.
It's in my bathroom.
Yep. That's it.
be outside. Our supervisor should be arriving shortly.
All right.
That's a straight up violation of your privacy. If it happens over and over, it can be considered harassment. So what's a real emergency? A fire, a gas leak, or water flooding the apartment downstairs? Those are emergencies. A squeaky cabinet door or wanting to measure for new drapes? Not an emergency. If your landlord keeps showing up unannounced, the first step is to put it in writing. Send a certified letter or an email reminding them of your right to privacy and that you require 24 hours written notice for all non-emergency visits, as required by your state's law. This creates a paper trail. If they keep doing it, you might be able to take legal action or even have grounds to break your lease.
What? You can't come into our house without
You
our
texted
consent.
me yesterday and said, "Can I do a showing?" And I said, "No, no one will be home."
No, but doesn't mean that we cannot do the show.
Well, no, but we've expressed we're not comfortable when someone's here.
We've told you you can't come inside our house.
You can't just like disregard our comfort.
Yeah, but you can't do a showing if
But it's 24 hour notice, I can't.
we've never signed the N11 forms. What are you talking
You
about?
can't do that.
You can't. This is like trespassing.
You're
told
entering
you can't come into our
illegally.
house, and you came into our house to do a showing. Sorry, guys, but like,
No, like this.
like he can't do this.
I did give you notice.
We'll step out. No, you guys. I'm so sorry.
No, sorry.
No, I'm so sorry. You guys.
You're all good. Thank you.
Sorry.
No, you're not.
A simple security camera inside your home, where it's legal, can give you all the proof that you need. Now, this is one of the most serious and destructive ways that a landlord can break the law. The Federal Fair Housing Act, along with state and local laws, makes it illegal to discriminate against tenants based on protected classes. Now, these include race, color, religion, national origin, sex, which covers gender identity and sexual orientation, having kids, and disability. Many cities and states add even more protections like for age or source of income. Now, sometimes discrimination is disgustingly obvious, like a landlord saying, "Sorry, I don't rent to people with children." But a lot of the time it's sneakier. It might look like a landlord telling a black applicant that nothing is available.
Hey guys, story time. So when I first moved out to LA, I moved out here with a friend of mine, and she moved out here 2 weeks before I did. So when I got out here, she had already been here 2 weeks. She was living with her cousins in a town that was specifically designed for a certain nationality of people. So when I got here 2 weeks later, we started looking for apartments. She was dead set on staying in that area. So I was like, fine, whatever, I didn't care. To look for apartments, everything was great over the phone, no problem. Yes, we have vacancies. But as soon as I showed up with her, there was no vacancies at all. And this went on for about 3 or 4 days after I arrived. We were looking for apartment. We kept getting denied. One day I called up an apartment complex, and when the woman answered, I said, "Yes, I see that you have an apartment for rent." I said, "I was wondering if it was still available." She goes, "You're not Mexican, are you?" And I'm like, I said, "No, I'm not Mexican, I'm black." And she goes, "That's worse," and hung up on me. Chick actually hung up on me. She hung up on me when I said I was black. So then my friend got a little just frustrated with everything, and she ended up deciding to move back to Philadelphia. She didn't want to stay out here anymore. She missed her boyfriend. It was too hard to find an apartment. I ended up staying with the family that took me in. Still had the same runaround when I started looking for apartments in the Valley. I had to basically solidify everything over the phone before they actually met me. I went through this for a few months where they would say it was available. Once I showed up, it was not. And it was really hard for me to find an apartment out here when I moved out here. When you say stop making race about everything, this is just a prime example of it. I haven't even gotten onto the jobs, but this is a prime example of housing discrimination. There's still a lot of discrimination on housing, on jobs, in healthcare. And until it ends, we have to keep making people aware of it.
And then giving a tour to a white applicant an hour later. It could be charging a higher rent or deposit to someone from another country. It can also be a no pets policy that's used to turn away someone with a disability who relies on a service animal. Another classic is steering, when a landlord tries to push people towards or away from certain neighborhoods based on their race. Now, the law demands that every single applicant be judged by the same standards. Landlords can screen for things like good credit or enough income, but they have to apply those rules equally to everyone. Now, if you suspect that you've been a victim of housing discrimination, you need to act. Document every single interaction. Take notes on what was said, save all your emails, and get names. You can file a complaint with the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, which is HUD, or your local fair housing agency. They will investigate your claim for free. Now, if they find proof of discrimination, that landlord can face massive fines and penalties. You read the lease, you signed it, so every word in it must be legal, right? Wrong. A lease is a contract, but a contract can't make you sign away your rights under the law. Landlords will often slip illegal clauses into their leases, hoping you won't know the difference. Just because you signed it doesn't make it legal. Any part of a lease that tries to waive your legal rights is worthless. For example, a clause saying the landlord isn't responsible for making repairs to keep the place livable is totally illegal. You have a right to something called the implied warranty of habitability, which means that your landlord is legally required to provide a safe and livable home, period. Other common illegal clauses to look out for are a clause that says your security deposit is non-refundable, a clause that lets a landlord kick you out without going to court, a clause that says that you can't sue the landlord if their negligence causes you harm, a clause that forces you to pay the landlord's lawyer fees in a dispute no matter who wins. Now, if your lease has any of these, that section is unenforceable. Now, if you haven't signed away anything, in some places, just having those illegal clauses in the lease might be enough to let you terminate it. The takeaway here is to read your lease carefully, but also know that the law gives you a baseline of protection that no contract can erase. If you read a clause that feels wrong, it probably is. Look up your local landlord tenant laws or have a lawyer take a quick look. But look, your relationship with your landlord is a business deal, but the office happens to be your home, your place of safety and your comfort. Knowing these 5 areas where landlords commonly break the law empowers you to protect that space. If this video taught you something new, hit that like button to help other tenants who need to see this. Subscribe for more guides on your rights. And most importantly, if you think your landlord is breaking the law, don't just sign and accept it. Document everything. Communicate in writing and get help from a local tenants union or a lawyer. The law is on your side, but it can only protect you if you're willing to stand up and use it. You have more power than you think. Stay informed and stay safe. I'll see you in the next video.